Gunby Hall is currently having a lot of work undertaken, a lot of structural work, not only on the house itself, but on the gardens and the pathways. So the brilliant staff again have come up with a great idea for the helpers and the people that volunteer there. And we're going to be giving walks around the parkland, around the house, and then out to Bratoft to see where the actual family used to live and where a lot of the bricks and architecture, if you like, came that built Gunby Hall, because they actually knocked the old manor down to reuse the bricks in the building of Gunby. So I'm quite looking forward to being able to lead one of these walks, and this is the day where we all got together and learnt about what we were going to be telling everybody. One of the first things we see as we leave the courtyard is Gunby's cedar of Lebanon tree. It was only planted in 1812 and it's now one of the biggest that you will see in the gardens. They live for thousands of years. It's actually got wires in the branches helping to support it, and it's become that important that it's been featured in the 50 Great Trees of the National Trust. Here you'll see where we think the fish were actually kept for the house in the early days. Of this pond actually predates the house, but it's also the ghost walk where the postilion was supposedly shot and thrown into the water by an angry father because he was trying to elope with his daughter. We also then go into a little bit by the church. I didn't even know this existed. The ranger team have been working really hard and it's now a natural play area for children. A really lovely area. They can make wigwams, there's little enclosures, there's tyres where they can pretend they're on a ship. And it's just a really fun area, just using completely recycled items and things that are natural from around that wooded area. And it's near enough the house, so it's great for parents, and I can see this being used an awful lot in the summer. As we enter the parkland, just across there, hidden in the trees, is an old pumping station. And I love the fact it was recorded as being for medicinal purposes only. In fact, it was so putrid and horrible to drink. I think that's how they got away with people actually drinking it. But you certainly wouldn't want to do that now. Katie, the ranger that accompanied us, was explaining that actually trees, that even standing trees that are dead, can support more wildlife than trees that are alive. So they're very careful in what they remove on the estate. And it was fascinating looking at the old root of this tree and seeing all the beetles and grubs that were there, and like the natural bird bath on the top that had formed where the shallow water was. A little sparrow was in there when we came, but we scared him away. And then in the top of the branch there, you'll see where the woodpecker's been, where he's been looking for grubs in the holes that they've made. Towards the end of the park, we can actually see the old road. This would have come around the back of the hall, and then it traverses on past some more of these beautiful architectural looking trees. I know they probably look quite scary at night, but to see all the wildlife that's in them, even though they're no longer alive, was amazing to see. They were full of flocks of fieldfares when we first got there. Onto the green lane, we were told about how there are beautiful common orchids at certain times of year, and they've also been putting down wildflowers, the ranger team, and really working hard on the conservation. But one thing that's really close to their hearts at the moment is helping to conserve and look after and increase the numbers of turtle doves. And to do that, they're allowing the blackthorn hedges to get wider and wider and thicker, because turtle doves have no fear of predators. They're actually used to being in these great thick dense hedges where there's no predators can get them. So we were told about one of the chaps that came to ring them and look at them, and he could just literally pick one off its nest, put its ring on and pop it back on again, because it had no fear, because it didn't think anybody could get to it. So that just fascinated me. The team have been very busy in another wooded area. They've been doing projects here to include native snakes. They've also got feeders that were put out to help the wild birds. They'd actually got proper squirrel-proof feeders at one time, and then sadly they all got stolen. So now they're making them out of wood, and then they're going to be putting them a lot higher up in the trees. But lots and lots of natural conservation projects going on to help the wildlife. And then as we go across the field, we come out on what was the old railway line. Now I had to smile because I know as a little one, I think I was 4 years old when the railway closed, but I know Mum took us all on it for the last ride. So it's incredible to think once upon a time we sat on a train coming along here, and now it's this beautiful grassy track, a permissive footpath that's full of wildflowers in the spring and the summer. Through the marriage of Sir Thomas Massingberds to Joan de Bratoft in 1495, the lands of Bratoft and Gunby and the moated manor house at Bratoft came into the family, surrounded by fish ponds and an extensive park. An Elizabethan garden seems to have adorned Bratoft Manor, of which archaeological remains can be seen in the landscape today, and it was Sir Henry William, the second baronet, who decided to move the family home to Gunby, and a lot of the bricks and architectural pieces that built the house were quarried from the old manor house at Bratoft and used in Gunby Hall. And as you can see here, we can just see the moat. You can see where the old pathway went across, or where it would have been a wooden footbridge across the moat. But just to stand there, I know it doesn't do it justice in the photos, but to look and feel what it could have been like. It was during the Civil War the Massingberds brothers, Henry and Drainer, fought on the parliamentary side, and both brothers prospered under the Commonwealth of Oliver Cromwell. Drainer was the one that went on to found the branch of the family seated at South Ormsby and is known for the South Ormsby Hall, while Henry served as High Sheriff of the county and was rewarded with a baronetcy by Cromwell. And it was Sir Henry's son, Sir William, the second baronet, who decided to move the family seat across the fields from Bratoft to Gunby. So you can end your walk there, or you can go on into Bratoft to have a look at their lovely church. But that you would retrace your steps back to the hall, which seems in some way sad because you're actually going on the same route. But I always find once you turn around and look a different way, you see different vistas again. So it's a really lovely, enjoyable walk. And if you can't enjoy Gunby in the traditional way at the moment, do come and join these walks in January and February.